Do or do not. There is no try.
Welcome back to Director's Choice, where we explore some of the most iconic movies and TV shows of all time. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the Star Wars franchise, covering the chronological order of the films and TV shows, and highlighting some of the most important moments and characters along the way. Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace. We start our journey with Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace. This movie, set in 32 BBY, introduced us to a young Anakin Skywalker, played by Jake Lloyd, and set the stage for the events that would unfold over the next several movies. Qui-Gon Jinn, played by Liam Neeson, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, were the Jedi Knights tasked with protecting young Anakin and uncovering the Trade Federation's plot to take over the planet of Naboo. The introduction of Anakin Skywalker, the reveal of the mysterious Sith Lord Darth Sidious, and the epic lightsaber duel between Qui-Gon Jinn, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Darth Maul. Star Wars Episode II, Attack of the Clones. In Star Wars Episode II, Attack of the Clones, set in 22 BBY, we see the beginning of the Clone Wars, which would ultimately lead to the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Galactic Empire. Hayden Christensen plays a teenage Anakin Skywalker, who is now an apprentice to Obi-Wan Kenobi. The two of them, along with Padme Amidala, work to uncover a plot by the Separatists to create a droid army. The discovery of the clone army, the assassination attempt on Padme Amidala, and the tragic romance between Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala. Star Wars, The Clone Wars. Between episodes 2 and 3, the animated TV series Star Wars, The Clone Wars explores the events of the Clone Wars in more detail. The show introduces us to new characters like Ahsoka Tano, played by Ashley Eckstein, and delves into the backstory of Darth Maul, voiced by Sam Witwer. The development of Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano's relationship, the introduction of Captain Rex and the clone troopers, and the epic battle on Mandalore. Star Wars Episode III, Revenge of the Sith. Star Wars Episode III, Revenge of the Sith, set in 19 BBY, is where we see the downfall of Anakin Skywalker, played by Hayden Christensen, and the rise of Darth Vader. This movie is notable for its darker tone and more mature themes, as we witness Anakin's transformation into the iconic villain of the original trilogy. Natalie Portman returns as Padme Amidala, and Ian McDiarmid steals the show as the evil Emperor Palpatine. The epic lightsaber duel between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, the infamous Order 66, and the birth of Luke and Leia. Solo, a Star Wars story. Solo, a Star Wars story set approximately 10 BBY, takes us back to the early days of Han Solo, played by Alden Ehrenreich. We see his first encounters with Chewbacca, played by Joonas Suotamo, and Lando Calrissian, played by Donald Glover. The movie follows Han's adventures as a smuggler and introduces us to new characters like Kira, played by Emilia Clarke. The epic train heist on the planet Vandor 1, the introduction of the Millennium Falcon, and the revelation of Darth Maul's return. Star Wars Rebels. Set between Solo and Rogue One, Star Wars Rebels is an animated TV show that follows a group of rebels as they fight against the Empire. The show introduces us to new characters like Ezra Bridger, voiced by Taylor Gray, and Hera Syndulla, voiced by Vanessa Marshall, and also features the return of Darth Maul, voiced by Sam Witwer. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Rogue One, a Star Wars story takes place just before the events of Episode IV, and tells the story of the group of rebels who stole the Death Star plans. Felicity Jones plays Jyn Erso, the daughter of a scientist who was forced to work on the Death Star, and Diego Luna plays Cassian Andor, a rebel spy who joins her on her mission. The movie also features the droid K2SO, voiced by Alan Tudyk, and introduces us to new characters like Chirrut Îmwe, played by Donnie Yen, and director Orson Krennic, played by Ben Mendelsohn. The Star Wars Episode IV, A New Hope. Star Wars Episode IV, A New Hope, set in 0 BBY, is where the original trilogy begins. Mark Hamill plays Luke Skywalker, a young farmhand who discovers he has the potential to become a Jedi Knight. Carrie Fisher plays Princess Leia Organa, a leader of the Rebel Alliance, and Harrison Ford plays Han Solo, a smuggler who becomes an unexpected ally to Luke and Leia. The movie also introduces us to the iconic villain Darth Vader, voiced by James Earl Jones. Star Wars Episode V, The Empire Strikes Back. Considered by many to be the best movie in the Star Wars franchise, Star Wars Episode V, The Empire Strikes Back is set in Threeabai and continues the story of Luke, Leia, and Han as they battle against the evil Empire. In this movie, we see the shocking revelation that Darth Vader is actually Luke's father. The movie also features the wise Jedi Master Yoda, voiced by Frank Oz. Star Wars Episode VI, Return of the Jedi, set in Threeabai, is where the original trilogy comes to an end. In this movie, Luke and his friends plan to rescue Han Solo from the clutches of the gangster Jabba the Hutt. We also see the redemption of Darth Vader, who sacrifices himself to save his son and defeat the Emperor once and for all. The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is a TV show set after the events of Episode VI, where we follow a lone bounty hunter known as the Mandalorian, played by Pedro Pascal. The show introduces us to a new character known as the Child, but more commonly referred to as Baby Yoda by fans. The Mandalorian is a great example of how the Star Wars franchise can expand beyond the Skywalker saga and explore new characters and stories. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, set in 34abai, marks the beginning of the sequel trilogy. In this movie, we meet new characters like Rey, played by Daisy Ridley, Finn, played by John Boyega, and Poe Dameron, played by Oscar Isaac. We also see the return of some old favorites, like Han Solo and Leia Organa, played by Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher respectively. The movie also introduces us to the new villain Kylo Ren, played by Adam Driver. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, also set in 34abai, is a controversial movie that divided fans. In this movie, we see the continued adventures of Rey, Finn, and Poe, as well as the return of Luke Skywalker, played by Mark Hamill. Star Wars Episode IX, The Rise of Skywalker. Star Wars Episode IX, The Rise of Skywalker, set in 35abai, is the final movie in the Skywalker saga. The movie brings back many familiar faces, including Emperor Palpatine, played by Ian McDiarmid, and features the ultimate battle between the Resistance and the First Order. Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Star Wars: The Bad Batch is a new animated TV show set shortly after the events of Episode 3. The show follows a group of elite clone troopers known as the Bad Batch, who have unique abilities that set them apart from their fellow clones. The show explores the early days of the Empire and the challenges faced by those who dared to resist it. The introduction of the Bad Batch, the reveal of their unique abilities, and the early days of the Empire. The Book of Boba Fett. The Book of Boba Fett is a new TV show set after the events of The Mandalorian, which follows the iconic bounty hunter Boba Fett, played by Temuera Morrison. The show is set to explore the criminal underworld of the Star Wars universe, and promises to be a thrilling addition to the franchise. And there you have it, the chronological order of the Star Wars movie. Whether you're a die-hard fan or a casual viewer, there's something for everyone in the Star Wars universe. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.